So you're looking at the Canon R7 and Canon R6 Mark II, and you're wondering, what's the real difference? APS-C versus full frame, what does that actually mean for your photography and video? Is the R6 Mark II worth the extra money, or is the R7 better value for what you get? Well, today we're doing a deep dive into this comparison, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which camera fits your needs best. Section 1. APS-C versus full frame. What's the big deal? First, let's talk about one of the biggest differences, sensor size. The Canon R7 has an APS-C sensor, which means it has a 1.6 crop factor compared to a full-frame sensor like the one inside the Canon R6 Mark II. But what does that actually mean? 1. Crop factor and field of view. The R7's APS-C sensor essentially crops the image, meaning a 50mm lens on the R7 acts more like an 80mm lens because of that 1.6 crop factor. The R6 Mark II, being full frame, captures the full image as intended by the lens's focal length. 2. Depth of field. Full frame cameras, like the R6 Mark II, create shallower depth of field when using the same lens at the same aperture compared to an APS-C sensor camera. This means better subject separation and more background blur, bokeh, for portraits and cinematic video. 3. Low light performance. Full-frame sensors generally perform better in low light because they have larger individual pixels that collect more light. The R6 Mark II has outstanding high ISO performance, whereas the R7 will start showing more noise at the same ISO levels. Section 2. Image quality. Does sensor size matter? Okay, so we know the difference in sensor size, but what does that actually mean for image quality? Let's break it down. Megapixels. The R7 has 32.5 megapixels, while the R6 Mark II has 24.1 megapixels. The extra resolution on the R7 is great for cropping and post-processing, but the R6 Mark II has larger pixels, which gives it an advantage in low-light scenarios. Dynamic range. The R6 Mark II retains better shadow and highlight detail, making it more forgiving when recovering exposure mistakes. The R7 is good, but APS-C sensors tend to clip highlights and crush shadows more quickly. Sharpness and detail. The R7 can resolve more fine detail due to the higher megapixel count, but its smaller pixels also mean it's more sensitive to diffraction at higher apertures. Section 3. Autofocus. Which one is better? Let's talk autofocus, because if you're into wildlife, sports, or fast action photography, this might be a deal breaker. The R6 Mark II has superior tracking algorithms, making it better at recognizing and locking onto subjects, even in challenging conditions like low light or busy backgrounds. The R6 Mark II is more consistent in subject tracking, holding on to fast-moving subjects better, especially in erratic motion scenarios like birds in flight or sports photography. The R7's autofocus is still very capable, but it can occasionally hesitate or shift focus, especially in backlit conditions or when dealing with small, fast-moving subjects. Both cameras support face, eye, and subject detection, but the R6 Mark II's processor gives it an edge in speed and responsiveness, making it better for professionals who need absolute reliability. Section 4. Video performance. Which one wins? Now, if you're a filmmaker or a content creator, video features will be a huge part of your decision. Here's how the two stack up. Canon R7 shoots 4K 60p with full-width oversampling, giving excellent detail. Has noticeable rolling shutter, jello effect, in fast-moving scenes. No 4K 120 frames per second, capped at 4K 60p with 1080p slow motion up to 120 frames per second. The Canon R6 Mark II shoots 4K 60p with no crop, oversampled from 6K, delivering sharper footage. Less rolling shutter compared to the R7, making it better for action shots. No 4K 120 frames per second, but does support 1080p up to 180 frames per second for ultra smooth slow motion shots. Section 5. Battery life, ergonomics, and handling. Battery life and handling, two things that make a big difference in real-world use. If you've ever shot all day at an event or been out in the field for hours, you know how much these factors matter. Battery life. The R7 has slightly better battery life due to its APS-C sensor being more power efficient. The R6 Mark II drains a bit faster, especially when shooting 4K or using burst mode, but both cameras use LPE 6NH batteries, so you can swap batteries between them. Dial and control setup. The R7 uses a unique top-right control dial around the joystick, which is different from Canon's traditional DSLR style layout. Some users love it, while others find it takes time to get used to. The R6 Mark II sticks with Canon's more classic control scheme, which separates dials for aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, making it more intuitive for those familiar with Canon's full-frame cameras. Ergonomics and handling. The R6 Mark II feels more premium and comfortable in hand, with a deeper grip that makes it better for long shooting sessions, especially when using larger lenses. The R7 is lighter and more compact, great for travel, but I personally prefer the ergonomics of the R6 Mark II. It just feels more natural to hold and operate. If you have larger hands or use heavy RF lenses, the R6 Mark II is the better choice for comfort. Section 6. Price. Which one gives you more value? Of course, price plays a huge role in which camera you choose. Right now, the R7 sells for about $1,500, and the R6 Mark II sells for around $2,500, a full $1,000 more. If you shoot wildlife or need more reach, the R7 gives you an amazing value for price. If you need the best autofocus, low-light performance, and pro video features, the R6 Mark II is worth the extra cost. Conclusion and final recommendation. So which one should you get? Here's the bottom line. Choose the Canon R7 if you shoot wildlife or sports and need extra reach. You want a lightweight, budget-friendly camera. You don't need full-frame low-light performance. Choose the R6 Mark II if you shoot portraits, weddings, or events and want the best low-light performance. You want the best autofocus and tracking. You shoot a lot of video and need high-quality oversampled 4K with less rolling shutter. That's the comparison. Let me know in the comments which one you would choose. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other Canon R series videos. See you next time.